works. Re, back to, and Nissan's meaning birth. All right? See these two Edomites over here, and by the way, those are Edomites. They're looking at me. You don't know that you're an Edomite?
Well, I'm a Renaissance fan, that's why.
That's right.
Oh, do you? You know what? Yeah, I said it. What does it mean? I just said it.
Renaissance means rebirth.
Okay, what time period did the Renaissance take place?
I'd say 1490 to 15.
Earlier than that, but you're close.
In Florida.
Okay, now,
Just go like
Renaissance was set up by what? Their art, right?
Yeah, it's about Christ and the rebirth of man.
No, white Christ. Because prior to the Renaissance,
I'm an artist.
wait a minute, hold up, don't run now. Wait a minute now, I got one more question, all right?
All right, go ahead.
Look, prior to the Renaissance, right? When you go back to the Russian icons, what color was Christ Jesus?
It's white.
He was white. Hold up, give me the icons.
What are you going to show
Wait a
me?
minute now.
Yeah, hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Renaissance, man. Open up the page. This is Renaissance right here, and this is pre-Renaissance. Icons and saints of the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Right,
And I
that comes out
purchased
of-
this
that's
right out of here.
Right.
And if you see pre-Renaissance, here we go. Elijah, Moses. See that?
I see that. I see that. But I'm colorblind to this.
I know you would be. I was
You're truth blind. You're truth blind.
bullshit.
You're blind to the truth.
So now you can know, since you're an artist.
That's why.
The Renaissance.
I'm interested in humanity. I'm not interested
You
in
want to be
creating.
that human stuff, man.
Yeah.
Can
But
I ask you-
anyway, man,
listen, what is iconoclasm?
you should know that.
An icon is something that you like worship. So it's making a
Icon is an
separation
image.
between- yes, it's a
On your
separation
computer
between-
screen, you got icons.
Separation between different gods.
What is
Iconoclasm?
iconoclasm?
Iconoclasm.
Fill me in.
It means
It means to destroy.
Yeah, the face of
You had a thing, when the flood took place, it was called a cataclysm, to destroy the universe.
Okay.
Iconoclasm means to destroy the icons.
I'm about
Listen now.
I'm listening.
The
You're not
Renaissance.
listening.
I know. I
He
don't
knows the
listen,
truth.
right? You gotta listen to me.
I'm one of the
Now
best
listen.
sculptors in the country, and I'm listening.
Okay, but now listen. The Renaissance period came about to destroy the black images of Christ and the disciples. See, you getting offended.
That's the truth. You're getting offended.
You gotta go, Renaissance man.
You can't handle the truth.
Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this The Dark Ages, What Does It Mean? And this is a response, a sort of response to the video that Elder Yashawamba put up entitled Edom, Your Little Season is Almost Over. And we're going to play off of this little season, you know, because we're coming to the end of his rulership. Now what I did was, I hope I didn't take this page, I can bring it back up. I can easily bring it back up. Okay, I put in Dark Ages. Put that back in. Okay, Dark Ages, or Dark Ages in Europe. Okay, I went to Dark Ages wait a minute, Dark Ages. Okay, I found it. Okay, if you go to Google and you type in Dark Ages, and it'll say Dark Ages historiography. Now we knew this, that the reason why they call this the Dark Ages, and Esau coined this phrase, the Dark Ages, because it was really when dark people were ruling. This was during a period of time when you had the Moors in power and you had the so-called Christians in power, which were Israelites that kept to Christianity. Their Christianity based upon Constantine I, which was a mixture of paganism and the scriptures. And in other words, they knew that there was a supreme. They knew about the scriptures. They knew about the Jews. Of course, they knew about the Moors. And there's a movie come out years ago starring Charlton Heston called El Cid, and it's based upon an individual that actually existed named what was his name, Rodrigo de Vivar. Vivar is talking about in Spain. And the exact time, it was during the Dark Ages. It was during the time when you had the Moors in power and you had the Israelites that were being called Christians. They were in power. And this is when Esau was on the bottom. And like I said, this is why it was Esau that coined the phrase Dark Ages. Because this is the time they want to forget. That's why, if I can find the video, I'll put it up. We were at the Met. This was sometime last year, around about November, I believe it was. It was last year or 2 years ago. And there was an Edomite that came by, and basically I kind of called him out, and he came and he said that he's a Renaissance man. And we kind of went back and forth. And now that's when I was going into the icon books. And I see we got to go back into those icon books and bring out the icons. And that's something that this devil, they know about the Dark Ages and that Jake ruled, but they don't want to speak on it. See, they're not going to teach you that in high school in history, because they don't want to know about that history. This is when these devils were on the bottom, pursuant to Revelation 20th chapter, and I believe Elder Yashawamba had mentioned or quoted from Revelation the 20th chapter, which we got to go into that too. We've gone through it, but we got to go through it again, and we got to show these icons, man, because these icons were left for us. See, and this is another reason why this Edomite doesn't want to really put us out there, because once they really put us out there, see, what they're doing now is they're demonizing us. But once they really put us out there, that's it. They're going to be found to be number frauds. See, we've been calling this man Edomite so much that it's beginning to stick. Like, just put Edomite, certain words that we have said, certain things that we have taught, when it is now in Google. It's forever in Google. If you put Edomites, who are the Edomites today? Edomites, so-called white people, the white man descended from the Edomites. Things are going to pop up. Our videos are going to pop up. That's why they're trying to end this thing called net neutrality. Anyway, I'm going to read this. It says, the Dark Ages is a historical periodization traditionally referring to the Middle Ages. Now, the Middle Ages can be from 500 to 1300 AD. In reality, it really should go back to about 300 AD, really before that. Because when you really understand this history, you find out that you had so-called black Caesars ruled, and what I found out was the so-called Caesars, the so-called black Caesars, started to rule in about 90 AD or thereabouts, because the last Edomite rulers were what do you call it, the Flavian dynasty, which you had Vespasian, you had Titus, and you had Domitian. And then after Domitian, you had what was this brother's name? Nerva, and I believe Nerva was a Jake. From that time on, you had Jakes ruling. Now, what Yeshaya, or High Priest Yeshaya from the One West, used to teach when he got all into the icons in the Byzantine Empire, because it was them that realized and came to the conclusion that the Constantine, because we used to call Constantine the devil until we found out that Constantine was actually a Jake. But now, prior to Constantine the first coming on the scene, like I said, you had Israelites ruling from the time of about I'm not giving you an exact year, so don't quote me on it. I can always look it up to give you the exact year that Nerva came into power. But that was approximately 90, maybe 80 something AD. Like I said, you can look it up for yourself. I might do another video on it. I don't have the information right in front of me. I can always bring it up. It's not hard to bring up. But that's when Jake started ruling. So High Priest Yeshaya taught that the first Jake emperor of Rome was a man by the name of Septimius Severus. No, Jake was ruling long before Septimius Severus was even born, man. Anyway, let me finish reading this, right? It says, traditionally referring to the Middle Ages, that asserts that a demographic, cultural, and economic deterioration occurred in Western Europe following the decline of the Roman Empire. Now, when they're talking about the decline of the Roman Empire, they're really talking about the last dynasty of Edomites was the Flavian dynasty. Like I said, which consisted of Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. After that, pretty much Jake ruled the Roman Empire. So that's why they said that the Roman Empire declined. You damn right it declined, because Jake took over. It says, goes on to say, the term employs traditional light versus darkness. Now, what does it mean? What do they mean by light versus darkness? The light is talking about them, the Edomites, versus darkness, which is us. Because we took this world over. And that's why they want to keep us down, because they figure if they don't keep us down, we're going to take over again. Which we are going to take over again. And that's, matter of fact, let me go to the scripture. Let me go to Daniel. And they know, see, the elite, they know that we're taking over. So they're mad now. Let me go to Daniel. And why are we taking over? Because the Most High going to raise us up. Daniel 7, verse 18. And this is one of I love this chapter here. This whole chapter is a beautiful chapter. And I love it so. Anyway, it says Daniel 7, verse 18. But the saints are the Israelites. And that's in Psalms 148, 13 and 14. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. And we took it in the past. We were on top. Then Esau was on top. Then this nation was on top. Then we got on top. And then another nation got on top. And now, who's on top now? Esau, the Edomites. And just start admitting that you're Edomites, man. The cat is out the bag. We have thoroughly proven that you are the Edomites. Let me read that again, the 18th verse. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. Whose kingdom? We're going to take Esau's kingdom. And then we're going to redo the kingdom. And because the kingdom represents this world, this earth. We're not going to another planet to set up a kingdom. We're not going to set up a kingdom in heaven. There's a heavenly kingdom and an earthly kingdom. That's in your Lord's Prayer. As it is in heaven, so let it be on earth. The heaven, the spiritual realm is in complete order. So we're praying that that order comes on the earth. And that's only going to come on the earth when the chosen people, the saints, which is the holies, take over, which the Most High is going to give us the power to take over. It says, and why do you get mad? You had your time. Time and chance happeneth to all men. Better is the end of it. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning. I'm sorry. Better is the beginning of a thing than the end thereof. I'm sorry. Better is the end of the thing than the beginning thereof. This is your end and our beginning. Anyway, it says, I think I said it backwards, but forgive me. Anyway, it says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. The saints are Israelites. So once this kingdom our kingdom is established by the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, it's not going to ever go down. It says, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which is the Roman Empire, which the last leg of the Roman Empire is this system that we're now living in, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell. That's when America comes on the scene, and NATO and the EU, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things. That's America, whose look was more stout than his fellows. That's why ultimately your European allies, your Edomite allies, are going to come against you. They're going to shoot missiles on you too. It's let me jump to the 25th verse. I don't want to stay into this too long. Okay, it says 25th verse, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, because you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which are named after Greek gods. Your moon god, your which is Monday. You got your various gods, because in the scriptures, the law is the first day, second day, third day, and so forth. It says, and they shall be given unto his hand until a times and dividing the times, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and the dominion and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of there goes again, to the people of the saints of the Most High. So who's in power now? The wicked. Who will be in power next? The saints. The word saints is from Latin santa, which means holy, the holies, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. And the him represents us as a people. Okay, so now let me go back to, and I gotta find it. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I'm going to have to bring it up again. And let me just bring it up again. So the actual Byzantine Empire is actually mentioned in the scriptures. That's why in order for you to understand prophecy, you have to understand history. You have to understand secular history. Let me go to that again. Dark Ages again. Okay. It says, okay, I can read from the middle. An economic deterioration occurred in Western Europe following the decline of the Roman Empire. When it says the decline, matter of fact, let me go to that. Let's deal with the decline of the Roman Empire. See, they go into their madness. I mean, they're accurate, but they're all over the place. So I'm not even going to deal with this. You know what? Let me see. It says fall of Rome redirects here for other uses. See sack of Rome. Let me try sack of Rome. Okay, it mentions of a sack of Rome. It gives you a bunch of dates. I don't want that. The fall of the Roman Empire. Let's see what that says. And that's an actual movie, which I have that movie. I'm just trying to get some dates here. Okay. It's giving you the plot of the movie. It says in the winter of 180 AD, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius fights to keep Germanic barbarians. Okay, now that's the first scene of the opening scene of the movie Gladiator. And that's when Marcus Aurelius fought against the Germanic tribes, which Marcus Aurelius was an Israelite. And Commodus was his son. So that the movie was loosely based on them because they had some characters that they put in there that didn't even exist. The main character played by this guy. Anyway, let me go back. Because I don't want to venture too far off. And history is vast, man. You know? It says the term employs traditional light versus darkness. Imagery to contrast the errors, darkness, lack of records. What is that? What are they telling you? The Dark Ages. They call it the Dark Ages because it lacked the records. They have the as Yeshua would say, they got the records. Them devils got the records. They got the records. They ain't getting it. They already got it. Anyway, they're saying that the reason why they call the Dark Ages because they lack the records. Well, look, we have the records. We have the icon books, and most high willing, I'm going to get into it tomorrow. I see that we got to get into this history, man. We got to get back into them icons and put it in these devils' faces. Because they got the records. Anyway, it says, with earlier and later periods of light. Now, then when they say light, that's when Esau is ruling. Abundance of records. In other words, when they were ruling, they got the records. These devils got the records, man. That's why they can make these movies on these different emperors, on Caesar and Caligula. Because they got those records. But somehow they don't have the records of the Dark Ages. Meaning they have very little records on it, man. Like I said, that's why the Renaissance man ran down the street when I told him that I said, what was iconoclasm all about? I believe I said, and he kind of acted stupid, and I said that the iconoclasm was a defacing of the true images of the people in Europe, which happened to be so-called black people, and he literally ran down the street. Anyway, it says the concept of a dark age originated in the 1330s. Now, why the 1330s? Because that was the earliest stages of the twilight of the so-called what do you call it? The Renaissance period. Because that's when they started beginning to take down them images, man. And like I said, when you go to 1300 or 1330s, which is AD, Anno Domini, you go back 1,000 years, that's about damn near you off by 5 years. That's when Constantine the first sat on the throne, man. And that's when Jake was in power. But Jake was in power before that. Remember I told you that this guy, Marcus Aurelius, which they featured in the movie Gladiator, he was a Jake, man. They showed you he had a long beard. It says, because when I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe every Jake that sat on the throne, that ruled in the Roman Empire, they all had beards. Okay? I could be wrong, but when you see them, that's how I know when Esau ruled and when Jake started ruling. Esau didn't have no goddamn beards. Maybe a few of them had beards, but they were trying to follow Jake. During the time of the year of the 4 Caesars, one of them was a Jake. It was either Galba or Otho, but one of them was a Jake. And they have a bus on it. So Jake was running shit, man. See, and Esau knew that, man. And that's why Esau is trying to keep us down. Because he knows the gig is up. He's done. He's through. Anyway, it says it says the concept of a dark age originated in the 1330s with the Italian scholar. This was it had to be a cracker, Petrarch, who regarded the post-Roman centuries as dark, meaning after Esau went down, the Roman Empire just didn't stop. The Roman Empire kept going. When Jake came up in there, they said regarding the post-Roman centuries, meaning when they were ruling, as dark. In other words, when Jake started ruling, they called it the Dark Ages or the Medieval Ages. It says compared to the light of classical antiquity. The light of classical antiquity is what? When them devils were ruling, man. It said the phrase Dark Age itself derived from the Latin Saeculum obscurum, originally applied by Caesar Borromeus in the 1600s, and that's when that's also part of the Renaissance period. Like I have a book, I believe it's called The Passion, and it deals with the Renaissance art, and it'll give you captions, and it'll tell you the years, and them years were from as early as the 1300s all the way up into the 1800s. Because the Renaissance period was when Esau came back into power, and that's that little season. So everything's coming together now, man. It says in 1602, to a tumultuous period in the 10th and 11th centuries, the concept thus came to characterize the entire Middle Ages when Jake was ruling as a time of intellectual darkness. See how these devils be lying? Between the fall of Rome when Esau went down and the Renaissance. The last Roman Empire, based upon my studies, is is a Domitian. When this devil came back into power, it was during the time of the Renaissance era. And that's that 1,000-year of rulership in Revelation 20th chapter. This became especially popular during the 18th century age of enlightenment. Why do they call the 18th century the age of enlightenment? Because that's when the devils came back into power. Because it took them years to come back into power. From the 13 to 14, late 1400s, that's when Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered the so-called New World. So in the 18th century, which was the 1700s, they were well into being on top. And that's that little season. Anyway, I'm not going to say any more. You can, all you got to do is go to Google and put in Dark Ages and just read it. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say...
First, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have teach this truth and sincerity. And shout out to Yakim that's out here on the four corners of the earth also pushing this truth. Risking your lives to do so as we get into this here. Of course, there was a couple false flags yesterday. Another bullshit shooting in I believe, Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, well, I don't believe the sewer stream media because, they have an agenda and it's gun control. And there's supposedly another fucker that went into the Goodwill and supposedly set off a bomb explosion. Very similar to the Boston bombing hoax, which, Again, anything that, you remember Red Silver J. I'm sure that most of us are subscribed to Red Silver J. How he would prove to you that the news is lying and that these crisis actors, and that's what they are. He would break it all down. But you can't do that anymore. Your videos get taken down. They get flagged. It's construed as hate speech just because you don't believe the fucking narrative. Anyhow, this is what's going on today. Of course, Apostle Tahar, he does 2 or 3 videos a day anyways, so... Nobody should get butthurt about the idea of doing 2 or 3 videos a day. You should always have the spirit that if you see something coming up, that you want to speak on it. You want to actually do something on it, or at least forward other brothers' videos. Like, I'll take other brothers' videos and put them together. I can give you an example. I have this video pad editor, and I put brothers' videos together and try to re-upload them. I used to call that in Revelation times, so I'm just not going to call it that anymore, but did create a playlist where I'm still, doing that or so, but, like Apostle Tahar right here, Christianity is white supremacy, and I'm pretty sure that's a very good video. I just turned this on this morning, to find what's going on. Esau is scaring people to submission. Well, that's been happening for some time, but, woe, destruction will fall upon them who are, and, people that ain't watching. 3 videos a day, why you mad, And, just, we should always be talking about these things that are going on here. But, anyhow. Oh, yeah, more flooding of the so-called shootings. That was the video I did yesterday, Because, I don't believe for 1 second. Oh, and here's another big one, which we should all be talking about here. Church of England rolls out cash donations, and so it's only taking RFID, and so that's what's going on here. But we'll read a little bit on RT because, of course, like everything else, this is what they don't want you to know about what's going on in Syria. So the top here, 40 tons of chemical weapons left by militants found in Syria. Russian MOD. Israel needs to kick out 450 elderly people to make room for new U.S. embassy. Space cat blood scientists on ISS a whisker away from medical breakthrough. Okay. And Romanov Go Live. Here's how to find the project on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So let's look a little bit more at this other article here. Because they don't want you talking too much about Syria. So, 40 tons of chemical weapons left by militants found in Syria. And Syrian medical staff can take part in a training exercise to learn how to treat victims of chemical weapons attacks in a course organized by the World Health Organization in Gaziantep, Turkey, July 20, 2017. Murad Sizer, Reuters. Well, we know Reuters is nothing more than their fucking media. Chemical weapon production facilities have been discovered in the areas liberated from the militants in Syria. That is, the United States government supported terrorists because, quite simply put, they are terrorists, the Russian Defense Ministry says. More than 40 tons of chemical weapons were abandoned by the retreating militants, that is, the terrorists, in the war-ravaged country. The ministry said on Wednesday. The Syrian Foreign Ministry pointed out that more than 40 tons of poisonous substances were found on the territories liberated from the terrorists. Igor Kirillov, the commander of Russia's nuclear, biological, and chemical production forces, said on Wednesday. So, but Assad supposedly did this, right? But yet, all the time it comes out, though, that it's these terrorist groups that America supports. The alleged chemical weapon attack in Khan in the Idlib government took place on April 4, 2017, in an area controlled by al-Nusra Front terrorist group. Up to 100 civilians were said to have been killed by sarin gas released in an airstrike by Syrian government forces. Washington immediately rushed to blame Damascus for the attack and fired 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles on the Sharat air base, claiming it was the very compound which jets allegedly armed with chemical took off. Well, now you find out that who did the chemical weapons attack. So you see, this is the hotbed. They don't want you knowing all this, right? Syrian's eastern Ghouti militants prepare chemical attack provocation. Russia MOD tipped off. Syria, which was confirmed to have destroyed its sarin stockpiles under a deal brokered between Russia and the U.S. in 2013, has denied the American accusations. Russia also pointed out through impartial investigation of the incident never took place, with OPCW experts refusing to visit Khan Shakun. It has argued that the attack could have been staged. That's right, just like everything yesterday was a staged event. So now we're going to go over to the Syrian Arab News Agency. Oh, and by the way, I found it in English, so I just couldn't find it yesterday in the middle of that. Fire and material damage caused by 3 shells fired by terrorists on Al-Abastin from the terrorist attack. Premier Kama injured by rocket attack on Kushran neighborhood. Syrian blast silence of UN member stats over increased terrorist attacks against civilians. So, what's really going on in Syria is that there's been more terrorist attacks, but you see they don't report on that. They only want you to believe, though, that it's the Syrian government that's doing this. Korov, only lasting solution to crisis in Syria is a political solution achieved by Syrians themselves. Yeah, okay, which we know that's the West trying to say, okay, well, we need another domestic government in there, right? Initiative to support Ghouta citizens by providing accommodation centers with food, because they were recently liberated from the terrorists, and so, again, they don't want you to know what's really going on here, and so that's a hotbed as well. But anyhow, again, any truther videos out there are being taken down. You can't do like Red Silver J did, prove that these fucking bastards are lying, but you can add two and two and figure out that the news is fake, it's to it's for gun control and everything else. And why are they doing that? Because, of course, the mark of the beast. Hold on a second while I try to get something else going here. Hold on a second. Okay, so here's a video editor. So I'm going to show you a couple things, and hopefully this will play through. Hold on a second.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
Prepared for World War III.
Turkish media says the army and allied militants from anti-Syria armed groups have seized several villages in the northwest of the Arab country. According to the Turkish Anadolu news agency, 4 villages in the Afrin area were captured on Monday. Reports also indicate that fierce fighting between Turkish troops and the YPG Kurdish fighters have been going on in 2 of those villages. An alliance of Kurdish and Arab fighters says at least 24 civilians, many of them women and children, have been killed in the Turkish army's rocket attacks and shelling of Afrin in the past 3 days. 26 Kurdish fighters
You know
from
this
Syria's
fake shit
US
about
Democratic
other
Forces
stuff
and
is to
19
distract from
Kurdish
this,
militants
right?
have also died. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accuses the United States of stoking separatism among Syrian Kurds.
Striving to understand the motivation behind such Washington policy, there is nothing left but to assume that this is either a lack of an understanding of the situation there or a deliberate provocation.
The top Russian diplomat added that Kurds should play a role in the political map of Syria, but they have also to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has reiterated that his country will not take a step back from the ongoing operation in northern Syria. Erdogan says Moscow and Ankara are in agreement regarding the military offensive against the US-backed Kurdish militants. According to Erdogan, Turkish forces want to take control of the city of Afrin. They are already in control of the cities of Jarablus, Al-Rai, and Al-Bab.
So that's what's going on there. And, of course, these other things are meant to be distractions from it, because we all know that World War III begins in Syria. So let's take a look at a couple other things real quick. Okay, so here's some other things that are going on. Trump says he will meet Putin to discuss arms race that is getting out of control. Yeah, because Russia has better shit than this piece of shit America does. U.S. learned nothing from Iraq war, Ron Paul. Yeah, and, that war just keeps on going and going because, of course, America wants to keep its occupation, in there, because pretty much, just like occupy Jerusalem, occupy Syria, occupy Iraq, because they want control of that region. It has nothing to do with anything else but just control, because that's what Esau does. Pro-war trolls resort to smears as their rebels lose miserably in Syria. That's right. Yeah. Bitcoin is #1 priority. NSA targeted cryptocurrency users globally, Snowden leaks show. Yeah, because they want everybody on that cryptocurrency so they can control that. Here we go. Here's the Austin bombing. And remember, I said this is another hoax. Austin bombing suspect dead after blowing himself up. Like, I really believe this shit. It's just a distraction from what's going on in Syria. 1 injured and another Austin blast unrelated to Austin serial bombing. Yeah, like I believe in this shit. Oh, look at this. MSNBC host claims Obama admin was virtually scandal-free. All these fuckers are corrupt because they're paid off by the Rothschilds, right? So anyhow, Senate reacts to bid into U.S. support for Saudi campaign in Yemen as Crown Prince Trump meets, as if they're going to end that war. No, because Saudi Arabia is doing the bidding of Esau, because we already know about the trade-off between that. So that's just a little bit of behind what's going on, and I just, hope that this has been edifying, just stay alert, and, don't be distracted by these other things, because it's just, pretty much to catch us off guard. But In no way do we believe anything that the mainstream news is talking about. So, anyhow, we'll just keep on pushing this out there while we still can.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1515B, and today's date is March 7th, 2018, and the title of the episode is The Deep State Has Lost Control. The takedown will begin soon. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, everything that we talked about with North Korea, well, it looks like it's coming true. We talked about how China, Russia, Trump administration, South Korea, they were all talking about peace in the background, while the corporate media and Trump was feeding the corporate media all this ridiculousness of going to nuclear war to keep them completely off track of what was really going on there. And we've come to find out that the reason for a lot of these sanctions was because the deep state was intertwined within North Korea. And we are seeing that there are more sanctions being placed on North Korea because what they're trying to do is they're trying to pressure the North Korean government in getting these individuals out of North Korea. Now, what we've learned is that the Clintons and others, well, they have sold nuclear technology to the North Koreans. And we can see right now that they are continually placing sanctions on North Korea to push them in a completely different direction and not dealing with the deep state, but dealing with the new U.S. government, dealing with South Korea, and it seems to be working. Now, South Korea, North Korea, they've been speaking to each other. North Korea is saying, listen, we would like to speak to the United States. We will denuclearize if we have certain guarantees. Trump is out there saying that North Korea looks like they are sincere now on possible nuclear talks. So we can see right now the deep state, they are definitely losing control of this situation. And once again, Q was out there talking about watch the water. And there was a picture of, the Clintons on one side and Kim Jong-un on the other. And behind the Clintons was rough waters. And behind Kim Jong-un, it was peaceful waters. And it looks like that we're heading from rough waters to peaceful waters, but we need to watch the water just in case the deep state tries to pull something. And I think this is the message there of what is happening out in North Korea, but I definitely do think we're on the right track, and I do think that peace is going to come across that land. And we won't be going to war. North Korea was never going to fire a missile. If a missile was going to be fired at the United States, it was going to be from the deep state. If we see something headed towards the United States from the water, like say from a sub, it will be from the deep state. It will not be from North Korea. So we can see right now the deep state, they are definitely losing control. They're losing control of the narrative, and the corporate media doesn't know what to do with it. This is why they just take it out of the news cycle. And Q has mentioned that. Have you noticed that North Korea is no longer in the news cycle? The reason for this is because the corporate media, the intelligence agencies, the deep state, all behind this, is if you don't mention it, it doesn't exist. So they just remove it instead of explaining that there's peace going on. Yes, there are articles about peace and things like that, but before, all they kept on saying was, and they had all their experts on there, that North Korea is getting ready to attack, they're going to fire a missile at any moment, they can reach anywhere in the United States, and they'll destroy the United States. If you notice, that type of talk is completely gone. We see right now the White House, and it's being reported that the White House is considering new attacks against the Syrian government in response to reports of chemical weapons. Now, let's think about this for a second. First of all, the Pentagon came out there and said there's no evidence whatsoever that Assad used chemical weapons. Russia came out and said it, and France said they can't find any evidence. They need proof before they'll do anything. This is coming from Daniel Coates, U.S. Director of National Intelligence. This is what the deep state wants to do, They put this out in the corporate media, and they push their agenda this way, making everyone believe that we're sending troops and we're ready to attack Syria. Trump is not sending troops in there to do anything, to remove Assad. Game over in Syria. Actually, what we're going to be seeing is troops coming home. That's what we're going to be seeing, and they don't like this. Already, Iraq is out there saying we need a timetable of when you're going to remove the troops from Iraq. Libya is having Russia come in and set up bases. And we see right now that Syria and Russia, they are saying it is time for the U.S. to leave Syria. And I think eventually what's going to happen as Trump and his administration, those patriots there who gain more control of government, the Pentagon, the intelligence agencies, they will start to remove troops from all of these areas. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, but this is definitely in play right now, and I'll explain that a little bit later in this report. We see that the deep state, well, they haven't given up. They're putting out propaganda films about the white helmets once again in Syria, and this time they found a baby under rubble, and they picked it up, and they ran with it. They didn't check to see if the baby was alive. They didn't check to see if the baby was injured. Actually, when you slow it down and you really take a look at it, it looks like a doll, and it looks like this is pure propaganda. And we see right now that the white helmets are at it again, and they're trying to do, and when I say they, I'm talking about the deep state, the neocons, they are trying to do whatever they possibly can to push their agenda, because they've done this in the past and it's worked. Now, today, it's not working as well as they would like, and they haven't stopped doing it. So what does the deep state do? How do they control everything that's going on if nothing's working? Well, it's called censorship. That's what they've been doing. Actually, Twitter was hiding Trump's post and Don Jr.'s posts, and they're saying that they're sensitive content. Now, if you take a look at their posts, you start to scratch your head and wonder, why are these really that sensitive? It doesn't really make sense. And here are some of the tweets that they said were too sensitive. Kim Jong-un hosts Seoul envoys first time since taking power. Boom. USA set to be the world's largest oil producer. And it goes on and on and on, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Donald Trump Jr., well, he was tweeting about censorship and how Twitter is censoring certain tweets. And they said this was too sensitive. So you could see right now that they are trying to censor. They're trying to make sure that people aren't seeing certain things, and I don't know why those are so sensitive. But Facebook, they've begun censoring Trump's posts on their platform as part of a clampdown on controversial content. In January, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced plans to deprioritize news from the news feed, admitting that users would no longer see updates from the most news outlets they follow. However, hidden in the small print was additional plans to also deprioritize the Trump Facebook account. So what they're trying to do, and they're doing this to the alternative media, is they're clamping down on what is being reported out there, because they don't want you to hear anything else except what they are saying. But this is about to change. I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to go back to the Clintons who had donations from Australia, where their foundation received millions of dollars for AIDS. And we can see right now that there is an investigation going on. And the FBI, they have launched an investigation into allegations that the Clinton Foundation secretly stole tens of millions of Australian taxpayer funds. The Bureau has asked Australian policeman Michael Smith to provide information he has gathered detailing multiple allegations that the Clintons funneled taxpayer funds out of Australia with the help of former Australia Prime Minister Julia Gillard. The Clinton Foundation received some $88 million from the Australian taxpayers between 2006 and 2014, reaching its peak in 2012 and 2013, which was coincidentally Australian Prime Minister last year in office. The material Smith is giving to the FBI focuses on the 2007 Memorandum of Understanding between the Clinton Foundation HIV/AIDS Initiative and the Australian government. And we talked about this yesterday, and Q came out and was talking about the Clinton Foundation and how, they're in the middle of everything with the child trafficking in Haiti, how they're behind that. And we can see right now that Q is dropping a lot of intel right now. And I'm trying to weave this into what has been happening with the current news stories. Now, yesterday we talked about November 11th, 2018, where Trump said, we're going to have a parade that we're never going to forget, and that was on Veterans Day. And of course, Trump came out, weeks before this saying that he wanted a military parade. And of course, the corporate media was all crazy, like, we don't need a military parade. This is not North Korea. This is not Russia. But again, Trump was setting them up because he had different plans. And the plans are completely different than what they think. Now, if we go back in time, why is 11/11/18 so important? Well, one, it's Veterans Day. But two, at 11 o'clock in the morning, on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the World War I, known at the time as the Great War, came to an end. Back then, that Great War took some 9 million soldiers' lives. 21 million were wounded. And we talked about this yesterday, how this parade on November 11th, 2018, most likely would be our troops coming home. The wars ending around the world, in the Middle East, out in Afghanistan, Ukraine, and everywhere else. Somalia, Sudan, you name it. Our troops are everywhere. They're in something like 37 countries right now. And I think what he's trying to do is bring all of the troops back home. The wars they are fighting are for the central bank, the deep state. It's not for freedom. It's not for democracy. It's not to better the people of the United States. It's to better the deep state, the central bank's system, to line their pockets. And it looks like that this parade we will never forget. And if he does do this, we will never forget this. Now, there are others that are saying that he's also going to parade criminals down the streets who actually caused all of this to happen. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Q also dropped some intel on something that is very interesting, where you can create fake videos, where you can have somebody speaking and their facial expressions appear on someone else's face, their mouth moves, and you can basically fake a speech by someone else. So, for example, if you have the president, maybe he's dead, they prop him up in front of a television camera. You have someone else on the sideline. Both cameras are on each one of them. The one that's on the president, it's his face, you can see clearly. The other one, their facial expression, their mouth is then placed on the president, and you cannot tell that the president is not speaking, even though he's dead. And he's saying that they're going to try to use these fake videos. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be using it for Trump, but they might try to use it for some other reason or way. And he says they're going to fail. But it looks like they're going to try to give it a go to maybe make it look like some type of official is actually saying something when they're really not. Now, another thing that Q dropped was that they've located Snowden, and it looks like he is in Hong Kong. He set up a picture saying that Snowden is here. And we see at this point that Q is dropping a lot of intel, and one of the things that I think are very important is IBOR. And IBOR stands for the Internet Bill of Rights. And the deep state, this scares them more than anything else. Loss of control, They can't control social media, and they'll be very, very scared. If you notice, they've been taking down a lot of alternative media, anyone that deviates from their narrative. And I think they're doing this ahead of time because maybe there's more false flags coming up and they don't want anyone questioning anything that's going on. So Q is saying that he was IBOR resistant, and now it looks like this is something that would actually be helpful to the everyday person. You're saying that these social media platforms must be regulated to prevent censorship and narrative push. Now, Soros tried to push net neutrality, and everyone's a little confused on what net neutrality meant. Net neutrality was on the ISP providers, Verizon, your cable company, that gave you access to the internet. And they said those need to be net neutral, where they can't, funnel traffic the way they want. Google, Facebook, Twitter, and the rest, they were completely exempt. There was no regulations on them. They could censor, they can funnel, they can manipulate, they can do whatever. But AT&T, Verizon, your cable companies, they couldn't. Now, of course, we didn't have to worry about them because they don't have social media. The deep state was more worried about, and Soros was more worried about, controlling what people were saying on social media. And Q said, who controls social media? Deep state, CIA. They're the ones who helped create it. They use taxpayer money to create this technology, a lot of it. And what they're saying right now is that IBOR, the Internet Bill of Rights, is something that needs to be looked at. And what this means is that there'd be no more data mining for ads, no more algorithms screwing up on how we communicate with others on Facebook, no more capturing my favorite soda to sell to a competitor who might want to make me buy something else. And also, and really important, is the right to be forgotten. The right to delete your information from the internet, to keep your information private. The UK is already looking at this, looking to do this. And we can see right now that the deep state is going to be in trouble because what they have right now is the control of social media. They tried to control it with fact-checking. They tried to control it in all different ways of removing different individuals that are speaking out. But at this point, it looks like everything is going to be turned around, and these social media sites are going to be brought into line, most likely with this Internet Bill of Rights. And we can see that at this point, the deep state, and remember, Q also said there's going to be a dead cat bounce. It looks like they're going to try to do something, and it most likely won't work, but it's going to be pretty darn big, so they can convince the world and the country that this is actually happening, whatever the false flag it's going to be. It could be another event like we saw in Parkland, or it could be something out in North Korea. But whatever it is, we can see that they're going to push this false flag event. And I think after this happens, if it's not stopped some way, somehow, I think what's going to happen is the deep state is going to lose control rapidly. And we're going to see social media change. We're going to see a lot of things change. And the deep state's going to continually lose control. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to make their move on the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons, McCain, and other individuals that have been corrupt, doing things illegally, who've been working with child trafficking, who've been working with the drug industry, who've been working with covert funds across the globe, who've been selling uranium-1 nuclear technology to other countries. And most of these individuals, I don't think they're going to stand trial. I think they're going to run. They might have bunkers already set up where they can hide and nobody knows where they are. Maybe the NSA and the rest already have information on where they'll be. I think a lot of them might suicide themselves. And for those who are left who will stand trial, America is definitely going to be shocked. And I think we're heading to that period very, very soon, because we can see as we get closer to November, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening between now and November for the wars to come to an end and have this parade. That means everything between now and then will have to be in line, where they're most likely going to have indictments. They're going to have information come out. There's going to have to be reasons why we're pulling out of all these countries. And we can see that a lot of things are going to take place. And I think this is why we're seeing everything happen once and everything's accelerating. And we also see Trump taking the economic narrative away from the central bank. We also see audit the Fed going to be pushed. And hopefully, if it is voted on and approved, we know Trump is definitely going to sign it. So we see everything is happening all at once. And we're going to have to follow this very, very carefully, because there's going to be a lot more information coming out. And again, we don't know exactly what the deep state's going to do, but they're going to push their agenda, and we're going to see the next event. Listen.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Baha, Rakwa, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, One West, who pioneered this truth, and also for the men who gave the life for this truth. Dead in Yahweh Shai shall arise first. Right? Shalom to the Bayath Dawadam, which is the house of David, the 144,000, the elect. And shalom to the Akim out there pushing his word with all truth, sincerity, and diligence, teaching the lost sheep of the house of Israel, for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the confusion of faces that have been scattered abroad. Right, it's the brother Kazar Ariyah from the Men of Valor 12 West Coast Camp. Right, coming back at it again, you know, using my old phone because my new one, the screen recorder isn't working. But you know, that's irrelevant, man. We're gonna get into the topic at hand. Right, and the title of this video for the topic is gonna be about the house of David, man. Right, the house of David being vexed, man. Right, because I don't know if brothers are feeling the same way out there, but you know, give you my personal experiences. All right, the testimony of different brothers. You know, we out there on the phone talking. You know, we live in vexed, man. We live in troubled. Our spirits are troubled. We're physically troubled. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers have to suffer ailments. All right, in our minds, you know, you got all these demons that be plaguing us, trying to fuck with our faith. So that troubles us. All this temptation on Salakia. I had to burp a little bit. You know, that's Satan fucking with my body. But, you know, all this temptation all around us, you know, that's also troubling, man. Because we know what's right, yet everybody around us is doing wrong. All right, the wicked being exalted in this society, that's vexing, man. All right, but it's all good though, because the rewards are gonna cease to exist, man. All right, their fruits shall go rotten, man. All right, but the first scripture I'm gonna bring out is the book of Psalms, chapter 6, man. All right, and that's the spirit because it was already on it. All right, so the book of Psalms, chapter 6, and it reads, to the chief musician on Neginoth upon Sheminith, a psalm of David. Alright, so King David wrote this. O Yahweh, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am weak. O Yahweh, heal me, for my bones are vexed. Right, and that's dealing with, you know, the brothers with physical ailments, man. Alright, physical ailments, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been through, maybe you got injured earlier in your life, or, you know, maybe you get sick. You know what I'm saying? Going on to verse 3. And not to mention, though, in the context of this verse, you know, King David was a man of war. Alright, so, you know, once age takes its toll, you know, being on the front lines for so long, could only your body could only handle so much of that, you know. Right, so moving on to verse 3. My soul is sore vexed, but thou, O Yahweh, how long? Alright, my soul is also sore vexed, man. King David, man, he was vexed, man. Alright, he was troubled. Right, and the brothers in this truth, the brothers that really be about this truth, man, we're troubled as well. Alright, we're so troubled. I mean, me personally, I feel so troubled. I feel like I could turn into a Super Saiyan at any moment, man. You know, I'm being serious. Like, I feel like I could actually concentrate that anger and turn it into something. You know, actually manifest it into something. It's weird. You know, going on to verse 4. Return, O Yahweh, deliver my soul, O save me for thy mercy's sake. All right, because you know what I'm saying? The Lord is a power of mercy, man. All right, we have a merciful power, man. And when King David says, how long, you know, that's talking about how long till the Lord delivers us, man. Till the Lord redeems us, man. Because you got to understand, all right, we're in hell right now, man. We're waiting on the Lord to redeem us. So, you know, the righteous, the saints, we cry out, how long? You know, we waiting patiently, man. You know, going on to verse 5. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? All right. I am weary with my groaning. All the night I make my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. All right. And you know, the brother, I believe it was the Tazawan from the East Coast. He made a video dealing with it's okay to cry unto the Lord, man. It's okay to cry unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And it is okay to cry unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. King David cried unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And he was so real with it that he actually put it in the scriptures, man. All right, the Lord gave him the spirit to put it in the scriptures, man. Because it's acceptable, man. There's a reason why the scriptures say the saints cry. Or the righteous cry. Right? Is a reason why the scriptures talk about the righteous, all right, and the elect, all right, me being a hopeful elect, being part of that number, the house of David, being vexed, man, being troubled all the time because of all this wickedness all around me, man, all around us, right, is a reason, man. It's acceptable to be in this spirit, man. All right, going on to verse 7. Mine eye is consumed because of grief. It is waxed old because of all mine enemies, man. All right, so is vision, man. All right, it's consumed because of grief, man. And also crying a lot, you know, makes your eyes red. I think it's bad for your eyes, but, you know, I don't really know much about anatomy that much. But going on to verse 8. Oh, actually, it waxes old because of all mine enemies, man. All right, Israel, you know, us in this truth, we're the number one enemies of this world, man. All right, we're the number one enemies of this world, man. We're the most hated in this world. All right, so going on to verse 8. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for Yahweh hath heard the voice of my weeping. Yahweh hath heard my supplication. Yahweh will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly, man. Because, you know, the Lord got our backs, man. Psalms 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High. Right, the Lord got our backs, man. Right, and there's a reason why he's giving us this vexing spirit, is because when it's time to go on these fucking wicked ass people, we'll feel no remorse. It'll be a joy. It'll be a day of joy for us, man. When it's time to get it in on these fucking heathens, man. When Jeremiah 16:16 manifests itself, you know, let me get it real quick, right? Because the Spirit got me on it. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. Then and after I will send many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill out of the holes of thy rocks. The rocks. Alright, so when that scripture manifests itself, man, you best believe it's the ones that are vexed that are going to be doing most of the hunting, man. Alright, you could only hold it in for so long. You know, the Lord is gonna raise up those the men with that spiritual power. You know what I'm saying? Right, the Lord's gonna raise up people with spiritual power, man. We ain't gonna need no fucking weapons, right? And even now, we don't even need to fight anything carnally, man. Like dealing with weapons and shit, we don't need to pick any of that up because right now, the war is spiritual, man. Right, so going on to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 17, verse 8. Right, this is dealing with the mighty men of valor. Right, 2 Samuel chapter 17, verse 8. For, said Hushai, Thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men. All right, dealing with the house of David, because I believe Hushai was the son of King David, and they be chafed in their minds as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field, man. So could you imagine how pissed off a bear would be? Because you gotta understand, man, there's a term out there in the world, it's called mama bear, meaning it applies to women that if you fuck with their children, they'll go homicidal, bro. So could you imagine how chafed an actual bear would be if you take her cubs away, man? All right, that's how pissed off the house of David was, man. That's how troubled the house of David was, the mighty men of valor. That's how pissed off they were, man. So pissed off, they each and every one of them probably felt like a Super Saiyan. Like they felt like they could just instantly transform into some crazy being or some shit like that. You know, feeling like if they concentrate all your fury, all your anger, you could actually turn it into a power. That's how I feel sometimes, man. Thy father is a man of war and will not lodge with the people. All right, and thy father is a man of war and will not lodge with the people. All right, because King David, man, and the mighty men of valor, all right, they were just on a different vibration, man. The people, you know, these villagers, man, these I wouldn't say these villagers, but just, you know, the rest of the people, man, they're on a different vibration. They're on some party shit. They're on some procreation shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to make babies. They wanna work. You know, they want to live. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to make a living. You know, live a normal life. The men of war, they're not about that, man. All right, that's why King David didn't lodge with the people, because they were all pissed off. That's why, you know, if they lodged with the people, it probably would have been bad, because the people don't know what the mighty men of valor go through, man. The people don't know what the house of David go through, man, when they out there in the front lines. All right, and that also applies to us in the spiritual aspect, man, because people don't know what we go through on the front lines, man, fighting this spiritual war. People simply don't know, but it is what it is, man. Like, you know, the blind are blind, man. All right, First Samuel's. I'm gonna get to another scripture. It's gonna be the book of First Samuel's, chapter 22, verse 2. And everyone that was in distress, everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, vexed, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. Salah, I should have read it at verse 1. And David therefore departed thence and escaped the Cape Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down with him. And everyone that was distressed, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. So King David did not take the winners, man. King David did not take the Kendrick Lamars. King David did not take the Will Smiths. Right? King David did not take the pit bulls. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't take the winners, man. He didn't take the Michael Jordans. He didn't, you know, I don't really know any current basketball players or anything like that. But y'all know what I'm talking about, man. He didn't take the winners with him. He took the losers, the outcasts, man. And that's what the house of David is, the outcasts. And that's what the Lord is dealing with, man. All right, the ones that are in mourning, right? Because you best believe us brothers, sincere brothers in this truth, man, we in mourning, man. Every single day waking up in this kingdom is vexation enough, man. All right, aside, like, just waking up in this kingdom and, you know, snapping back into reality, or I say the so-called reality, because nothing is real in this fucking kingdom. All right, but, you know, snapping back into this hell is just vexation enough. Imagine dealing with the actual bullshit that flies our way. You know what I'm saying? Going on to another scripture. All right, because you best believe, man, Ecclesiastes 7:7, for surely oppression driveth the wise man mad. But for now, I'm going to use Ecclesiastes 7:2. Or actually, I'll just read down to 7. Alright, and it's the book of Ecclesiastes. Salak. You know, that spiritual demon Satan making me burp. But anyways, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of a fool. This also is vanity. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Alright, so brothers gotta understand, man. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. We're being oppressed in this world in all aspects, man. Alright, all aspects. Financially, physically. Alright, you can't even, you know, some brothers can't even get women out there. Alright, so it's sexually, spiritually, right? You're being demonized for what you believe in. Alright, but guess what? It is better to be in the house of mourning than to go in the house of feasting, man. Right, and this is the last scripture I'm going to bring out right here. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 17. And it reads, for the Salak. Salak, it was 34, verse 17. Right, so it reads, because, you know, going back to wow, it's acceptable to cry unto the Lord, right? He's the scripture for that. The book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 17. The righteous cry, and Yahweh heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. Yahweh is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such that be of a contrite spirit, man. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahweh delivereth him out of them all. He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate, man. Yahweh redeemeth the soul of his servants. None of them that trust in him shall be desolate, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a beautiful final scripture to close it out, man, because, you know, of course, you know, we got to bring balance to these videos, man. I can't just talk about being depressed all the time. I got to give you some hope, man. Right, the Lord, that's the beauty about these scriptures. Sure, it talks about how we're going to be oppressed. It talks about how we're going to be, you know what I'm saying, vexed. But guess what? There's hope in these scriptures, man. Because as long as we're believing in the Lord, as long as we're trusting in the Lord, and during till the end, you know, doing what we got to do, doing what we're supposed to do, all right, the Lord will deliver us, man. All right. And the wicked will be made desolate, man. And that's going to be a beautiful sight. Seeing this planet, this earth, return to its righteous vibration, man. Its rightful vibration. Alright, because, you know, brothers out here, man, we ain't compatible. We're incompatible with this world, man. We're not compatible with this world. Alright, it's like putting an Xbox CD on a PlayStation. You know, we're simply not, it's not compatible. It's not going to work. Right, because we're made to be in the kingdom. We're made to function in the kingdom. That's how our spirits are created, man. Right, me being a hopeful elect, you know, hopefully the brothers that feel the same way are of the elect as well. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we keep in the faith, man. You know, but with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, blessing me with another topic to do a video on, man. Alright. Hopefully it was an edifying lesson for the brothers out there.
Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, and salutation to you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. And it's going to be you know, a lesson in the spirit of, you know, Passovers is ended. Of course, we clearly still in America, all right? So in the Feast of Unleavened Bread is ended, but guess what? We got to deal with the leaven of waiting, all right? So it's going to be, you know, that Passover spirit. We talked about the leaven and removing the wickedness and everything. But now we're going to deal with, on the right hand side, the leaven, man. And we got to deal with the leaven, all right? And by that I mean waiting, all right? The leaven of waiting, man. Okay? So this is Matthew 13 and 31. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. All right? So he's comparing the kingdom of heaven to something you plant. It's a seed. It starts small, and then over time it grows. All right? Then at a time, then you can eat of it, man. All right? Like your first fruits. All right? The first fruits. All right? Is a high holy day that we keep. All right? What you do is you have to. It's a high holy day that's counted by a waiting time from after the Passover. All right, and that's what we must do, man. We gotta wait and endure until that time when the Lord decides He's ready to reap. All right, His first fruits, man, which we hope to be. All right, and that's the kingdom of heaven's been likened to. It takes time to grow and be built up. All right, for the Lord to be ready to deliver us. All right, the elect may all be awake right now, but it's still a certain measure we got to reach. Our faith got to be fully tried to where we won't break when that day comes, man. All right, so it gives that parable. Then the next one is what? Another parable. Like, I'm read 32. I'm read 32 again. Which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh the tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. So look, it's taking time before we get our deliverance. Look what we dealing with, man. All right, it started out because what Yahweh said, the kingdom of heaven is within you, man. So the elect got to be built up before the deliverance. It started off Abba Bivens, that one seed, and it's gonna grow into 144,000 liters. And an innumerable multitude, man. All right, it's gonna grow into that big mustard tree, man. All right, but that takes time, man. All right, before this fruit can reach its peak. Okay, we gotta endure through all that. We gotta endure. All right, teach this word. Wake up the elect. All right, and then when that's done, hey, we gotta be built up to our full potential individually. Okay, another parable spake he unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All right. So again, this time instead of using the fruit of the earth, is using that time it takes when you put leaven in the dough, and the whole thing has to be raised up, man. All right. We got to endure until all the elect is raised up into that level they need to be at, man. We're counted as those first fruits, man. And with that first fruits offering came offering to the priest of leavened bread. All right. So I'm gonna read this first, man. This is James 1:18. Of his own will begot he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. All right. We're hoping to be counted as the first fruits, man. And with that comes the time of waiting before the first fruits grow. And that's symbolic to the time of waiting for the dough to rise. Okay? This is Leviticus 23. And I'm gonna start at 15. Now this is going to the Sabbath, the day right after the last day of unleavened bread, right? So Leviticus 23:15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought out the sheaf, to going to the day after the Sabbath. All right? Which that Sabbath will be the day after the unleavened bread. So, and ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf, the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. even unto the morrow after the Sabbath shall you number 50 days. All right? And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh. Ye shall bring out. So already you got the idea of counting and waiting right here. All right? To measure this high holy day, right? The first fruits. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be a fine flour. They shall be baking with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh. So part of the first fruits comes with that leaven of waiting, man. You gotta wait for the feast of the first fruits. All right. Then of course you gotta wait for that dough to rise, which Yahweh Shai used both of those as parables representing the kingdom of heaven. All right. So we have to endure, man. We got to deal with the leaven of waiting and enduring, man. Patiently waiting for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to save us at the end day, man. All right, because we receive our salvation at the end of all of this, man. Not a moment sooner. All right, it don't work like that. We got to be built up and we got to deal with this, man. Okay. So this is Ephesians 4. It's Ephesians 4. And 11. He gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints. All right. So we all got to grow and be built up to that. I'm gonna just keep reading, right? To be perfect, essentially. All right. For the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach. And that word edify means to build up. All right. So each individual got to be built up as we're building up the body of Yahweh Shai, gathering in the fruit. Okay. Gathering in the other men that haven't completely come in yet. All right. Building them up. Ourselves getting built up till we all. So like it said, to the whole in that Luke it said. I'm gonna read the Luke one. Luke 13:21. It is like leaven which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till the whole was leavened. All right. So it says what in this Ephesians? Till we all come. Ephesians 4:13. Till we all come in the unity of faith. All right. That whole lump. All right. And of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Mashiach. All right. So we all gotta be built up, man. All right, to the level that the Lord knows, that predetermined level where He knows. All right, that this man officially he can't stumble, he can't fall away. All right, and we all gotta be built up to that, man, so we can make the fullness of Yahweh Shai. All right. We got to deal with that leaven of waiting, man. We got to endure. All right, continue to teach. Like you say, He gave apostles, pastors, evangelists, teachers, prophets for this reason. Build the rest of the dough up. Bring in the rest of the fruit, and then increase those men, man. All right, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Alright? So the Lord knows when we reach that full potential, man, we won't be caught off guard. Or we won't be gotten and take the mark of the beast. Or we won't be tricked by the wiles of the devil. Alright? But speaking the truth in love may grow up into Him in all things, which is the head, even Mashiach. Alright, for whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth. So we gotta labor, man. We gotta endure and keep laboring, man. Alright, bringing forth that fruit, man. Building one another up, man. Alright, hey, leavening one another. Hey, all things are double. Now we gotta deal with the leaven, man. The leaven of waiting and while the fruit grows and increases, man. According to the effectual working and the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. Alright? So this is 1 Peter 1. I'm going to read 5. gonna start at 3. Blessed be the power and Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Mashiach from the dead. Incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. Alright, and that's we're enduring and patiently waiting to see and hopefully receive, man. That's salvation, but that comes at the last time, man. And, you know, it's a blessing. We are in the end days. We still got to go through shit, man. Alright? Wherein ye greatly rejoice. We still got to build up more men of the Lord. Alright? We still got to be built up ourselves. So we're completely solid, so nothing will shake us, man. Okay? This is what the Lord is doing. Alright? Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold, that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So our faith has been tried and made better each and every second, man. Alright? Each and every second that we're going through shit and we're gaining different learning experiences. Alright? Gaining more wisdom. Getting more battle hardened. All that is to make us so we can actually be there in the appearing of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man. To receive, man. Whom having not seen ye love, and whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. So there you go, man. That's the end of our faith. We're waiting. Alright? That dough is rising and rising and rising until the whole lump is fully rise, man. And then our salvation comes at the appearing of Yahweh Shai, man. Of which prophets have inquired and searched diligently. Hey, shit, the prophet's been waiting since Abraham, man. Shit. He got the promise of getting that kingdom. He's been waiting all this time. So we gotta do our little bit of waiting, man. We gotta do our 7 Sabbaths, man. Our 49 plus 1 days, man, which is 50. Okay? Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the spirit of Mashiach, which was in them did signify when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Mashiach and the glory that should follow, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven, things angels desire to look into. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So there you go, man. There you go, man. We're to gird up to know we're going to have to wait and endure and hope until the end. That whole loaf, that whole lump is fully leavened, is fully risen, man. Woken up to the truth and reached their full potential. Alright? And then, hey, Yahweh Shai gonna come. Hey, them 4 angels gonna release the wind, Salakia. And our Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna come, man. And redeem his elect, who we hope to be, man. Alright? As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves to the former lust and your ignorance. And there you go. That goes back to coming to the fullness of our stature, man. Alright? That we won't go into no bullshit, man. Alright? But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, being built up to that perfection, man. Alright? Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. So with that, I hope it's edifying, you know, and easy to be understood, quick and to the point. All praises, honor, glory to you, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles. And salutations to you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. Shalom.
Alright, Shalom. First off, foremost, I want to say call Allah Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai Ba'asham. Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS that were well. Starting with Apostle Howard now down. The true men of the Lord who taught this truth for over 3 decades. And they're still pushing and still enduring until this day. And Shalom to Sensor Akim that's pushing this word through the spirit, through the power, and through the name of Yahweh Bashma Shah, to seal the elect of Israel, followed by the 1/3 of Israel. And this will be another edition of G-Miss on the go. And I wanted to touch on the topic of how these nukes, won't be pretty, man. All right, because the only thing that's gonna get saved from the nuclear missiles will be the elect in the 1/3. All right, that's the only people that's gonna get saved out of this out of the destruction that's gonna soon be bestowed upon America. All right, and everything that you see, the animals, the trees, everything, the seas, the people, all right, everything's gonna be caught up in it, except for the elect in the 1/3. All right, this is the book of Saint Ezekiel 24, and I start at 9, and it says, "Therefore thus said the Lord power, woe to the bloody city." All right, and it said woe, which means destruction, and it says woe to the bloody city, and the bloody city talk about America. All right, because soon America will be engulfed in fire, man. All right, nuclear missiles, and it says, "I will even make the powerful fire great, heap on the wood, kindle the fire, consume the flesh, and spice it well, and let the bones be burned. Then set it empty upon the coals thereof, that the brass of it may be hot and may burn, and that the filthiness hold up, get my light on real quick." And it says, "Then set it upon the coals thereof, that the brass of it may be hot and may burn, and that the filthiness of it may be molten in it, that the scum of it may be consumed." All right, and that's talking about the nuclear, the missiles, man. All right, this place will be consumed with fire, man. All right, this place will be consumed by thermonuclear missiles, and soon, all right, if you think that what we talk about is a lie, man, hey, well, woe be unto you, because you're gonna know once that day comes. Once you see the missiles, you're gonna know that prophets have been among you, man, because these missiles will come. They're gonna come to pass. All right, the missiles will destroy this whole place, man. All right, it says woe to the bloody city, destruction to America, man. And it says, "Thus said the Lord power." All right, thus said the Yahweh Shema Shai, because Yahweh Shema Shai, whatever thing it says, will not return unto him void. All right, this is the book of Haggai 2 and verse 6, and it says, "For thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashma Shai of hosts, yet once it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land." All right, so like I was saying earlier, the only thing that's gonna get saved out from the nukes is the elect in the 1/3. All right, and once they're getting delivered, those nukes are gonna hit everything, man. The trees, the sea, the land, the animals, the people. All right, and that's what it says right here in Haggai 2 and 6, man. All right, the Lord's gonna shake everything, shake the heavens. All right, He's gonna shake everything, man, because this is a heaven. This is Esau's heaven. All right, this is one of the heavens. All right, because hey, man, Esau's kingdom, Esau's heaven will soon be shaking up. All right, it's gonna be shooken up, man. Right there, look at the missiles. All right, I'll read it again, and it says, Haggai 2 and 6. "For thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Shema Shai of hosts, yet once it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land. All right. So these nukes. So once these nukes get shot off, all right, it's gonna hit everything. All right, they're not gonna hit each other. The Lord's gonna have it for where the nukes hit the exact target, man. And that's the bloody city. It's gonna shake it's gonna destroy the seas, the dry land, the beasts. All right, the birds, everything. All right, the people mainly. All right, the buildings. All right, everything you see that's right now in America. All right, everything you see right now, it's soon gonna come. It's soon gonna come to naught, man, by these thermonuclear missiles. Because Yahweh Shemashah is gonna shake the earth, and the missiles are gonna shake everything, man. All right, this earth is gonna rock to and fro like a drunkard. All right, just like how a drunken person shakes to can't stand their 2 feet once they're drunk. That's how the earth is gonna be. Yahweh Shemashah is gonna shake this place, man, and it's gonna be harsh and swift. All right. This real quick. Hold up. Just lock it. I want to get like a drunkard. The scripture. All right. This is Isaiah 24. Say Isaiah 24 verse 20, and it says, "The earth shall roll to and fro like a drunkard." All right, and that's the point I want to get right there. All right, and how is the earth going to roll to and fro? All right, by those thermonuclear missiles, man. Once this earth get hit by these missiles, it's gonna get shaken up. All right, to and fro, man, like a drunkard. Because like I was saying earlier, if you're drunk, if you're under the influence, or if you see someone under the influence, they don't they can probably stand on their 2 feet, and then if they pass that level of drunkenness, I should say, they end up falling, man. Like you see a female in high heels, and she's drunk as hell, man, and she falls because she's too drunk. But that's how the earth is gonna be. This earth is gonna get rocked, man. All right, with the left and the right hook, man. How about small shot? Then it's gonna be the end all be all. All right. This is Zephaniah 1 and verse 3. I'll start at 1. Zephaniah 1 and 1, and it says, "The word of Yahweh Shemashah came unto me." The word of Yahweh Shemashah, which came unto Zephaniah the son of Cushai, the son of Gadoliah, the son of Amara, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah. I will utterly consume all things from off the land, said the Lord Yahweh Shemashah. All right, consume all things off the land. All right, everything is gonna get consumed by his nukes, man. All right, that's Yahweh Shemashah's indignation. All right, righteous anger. He's gonna do all these things, man. He's gonna do all those things. It says utterly consumed. All right, it's gonna get fucked up. Verse 3, and it says, "I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, said the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai." All right, and man, it says he will consume man and beast, fowls of the heaven, fish of the sea. All right, everything is gonna get swallowed up, man, and these nukes. Everything that you know to be life, as we see it right now. All right, everything is gonna get fucking engulfed in flames. Besides the elect and the 1/3, because they're the ones that's gonna get delivered and saved out of it, before the nukes hit. All right, and once the nukes hit, man, everything is gonna get consumed. All right, it's gonna get how you said it, were utterly wasted, I should say. All right, everything was gonna come to naught. All the elements, all right, everything's gonna come to naught, man. Like it says in the book of Peters, man, with fervent heat, all right, everything is gonna get fucked up, all right. And like that movie, I believe it's called The Knowing, all right, it's gonna be just like that, you know. Everything is gonna get consumed in fire, man. That movie with what's his name, Nicolas Cage, all right. And that movie spiritual too, by the way, man. Very, very spiritual. All right, if you didn't see it, I recommend you go watching it. Very, very spiritual. All right, and that's how it's gonna be, man. Like in the movie, everything's gonna get engulfed in flames. All right. This is the last verse, and I'll be out. All right. This book is saying Isaiah 55 and verse 11. And it says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in a thing whereto I sent it." All right. And amen. A couple of those scriptures, or if not all of them, I believe, they said, "Thus saith the Lord power," man. All right. Haggai, Zephaniah, Ezekiel. All right. I believe all the scriptures said, "Thus saith the Lord power," if I'm not mistaken. All right. And once it says that, man, amen, that means the Lord Yahweh Shemashai is speaking, man. All right. And like it says right here in Isaiah 55 and 11, it says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return to me void. All right. Meaning that it's gonna happen. Whatever Yahweh Shemashai says, what happened is gonna come to pass, man. All right. Because he can make anything happen. All right. He runs this place, man. All right. Yahweh Shemashai runs everything. All right. And I believe all the scriptures said, "Thus saith the Lord power." All right. Thus saith the Lord power, man. So Yahweh Shemashai says, if he says everything will be consumed, if he says man and beast, all right, fowls of the heavens, all right, fish of the sea, all right, it's gonna come to pass, man. If Yahweh Shemashai says the earth shall rock to and fro like a drunkard, all right, if he says that the earth is gonna be shaken, all right, it's gonna be like that, man. All right, it's gonna come to pass. All right, it's gonna be real, real harsh, man. The earth is gonna rock to and fro, man. These nuclear missiles will not be pretty. All right, everything that you see right now on earth is being engulfed in fervent heat. All right. And Lord willing, I hope you brothers were edified. All right, through the spirit, through the power, through the name of Yahweh Shemashai. With that being said, I'm going to say, call Lord Yahweh Shemashai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kodash. Call Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kodash again. And double honor to my apostles and elders of JMS that do rule well. Starting with Apostle Har and down. And the true man of the Lord, who taught us this truth for over 3 decades and still pushing, still enduring until this day. And shalom to Sister Akim that's pushing this truth through the spirit, through the power, and through the name of Yahweh Shemashai. All right, including the fusion of faces. All right. And with that being said, I want to say, shalom. Keep pushing, keep enduring. All right, shalom.